Infinity. Just saying the word feels heavy. It's like this big, ungraspable thing that's always there, sitting quietly in the back of everything. No beginning, no end, just endlessness. And the more you think about it, the harder it gets to wrap your head around. It's not the kind of thing you can just neatly explain, you know? It's one of those ideas that feels like it exists beyond us, but somehow it's everywhere at the same time. Take numbers, for example. We've all heard it before. Numbers go on forever. You can count as high as you want, and there will always be one more waiting for you. That's infinity right there. But here's where it gets weird. Even between two numbers, there's an infinite amount of other numbers. Like between 1 and 2, you've got 1.1, 1.11, 1.111. You get the idea. It's like there's no such thing as small enough when it comes to numbers. Even the tiniest fraction has something smaller hiding inside it. That's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it? But it's not just numbers. Think about space for a second. The universe is so big we can't even properly measure it. Scientists say it might be infinite, stretching out forever in every direction. But if it is infinite, what does that actually mean? Does it just keep going and going, or is there an edge? And if there is an edge, what's beyond it? More space? Nothing? The idea of space just stretching forever makes you feel so small, like you're just this tiny speck in something so vast it doesn't even notice you're there. And it's not just the size of space that's infinite, it's the possibilities too. If the universe really does go on forever, does that mean there are infinite versions of you out there? Like, somewhere there's a version of you that decided to wear a different shirt today, or a version that made a completely different life choice years ago. Every single possibility playing out somewhere in this never-ending cosmos. It's a wild thought, isn't it? Kind of exciting, but also a little unnerving. Like, what does that mean for the choices we make? If every possibility exists somewhere, does it even matter what we do? Or maybe it makes it matter more. I don't know. Infinity also shows up when we think about time. We like to think of time as this straight line with a beginning and an end. But is that really how it works? What came before the beginning? And what happens after the end? Does time just stop, or does it loop around and start all over again? Some people think time is infinite in both directions, stretching forever into the past and the future. But if that's true, how do we even exist in this one tiny moment? It's like trying to find a single drop of water in an endless ocean. It doesn't make sense, but here we are. Here's the thing about infinity, though. It's not just some big cosmic idea. It's something we deal with in little ways all the time. Like, have you ever tried to think about all the things you don't know? That's infinity right there. No matter how much we learn or discover, there's always more out there. More questions, more mysteries, more stuff we'll never fully understand. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the whole point of infinity is that it keeps us curious, it keeps us wondering. But infinity can also feel overwhelming. Like, if everything is infinite, does anything we do really matter? It's easy to get lost in that kind of thinking. But maybe infinity isn't about making us feel small or insignificant. Maybe it's just a reminder that the world, and everything in it, is bigger and stranger than we can ever imagine. And that's okay. We don't have to understand it all. We probably never will. But we can appreciate it. We can wonder about it. And maybe that's enough. Infinity is one of those concepts that's hard to talk about without sounding a little philosophical. It's one of those things that just exists, whether we like it or not. We can't measure it or fully explain it, but we can feel it. It's in the endlessness of the stars, the unending possibilities of numbers, and the way time just keeps moving forward no matter what. It's humbling, but it's also kind of beautiful. Like, even though we're just tiny pieces of this infinite puzzle, we're still part of it. And maybe that's the most amazing thing of all. Anyway, that's how I see it. You don't have to agree. This is just my take. Infinity is one of those things that everyone thinks about a little differently, and that's what makes it so fascinating. It's not about having the right answer. It's about letting yourself wonder.